right, there he is. Tommy Smokes, the number one reality TV show fan, maybe on the planet. It's time for the Traitors finale recap. I'm altogether super surprised how they did it. Never happier to be wrong, but also I thought it led to a lackluster finale. I thought there was no way they were gonna cliffhang and tease last episode if Danielle got voted out, because then you open up the finale and the biggest thing of the season happens in the first 5 minutes and you're left with a pretty boring finale. That's exactly what happened. So it was a big moment, and then it was just kind of like, well, we know what's going to happen for the next 50 minutes with a minor amount of drama of like, will they all end the game or not? But the one thing I said, there's no way they would cliffhang Danielle to start an episode, and they did it. I guess good on them for throwing a curveball, switching up the rules a little bit of what you expect on TV. But I thought it ended up making the finale, other than Danielle moment, pretty like we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, but I almost think that's why they saved it, because at least you had that moment in the finale of Danielle getting blindsided. If they put that at the end of last week, then last night would have nothing.
I agree. I think they should have like shifted the whole thing. I think the finale should have been, an hour and a half, and you have her at the end of the finale into, gotcha. You know what I mean? Like they should have just moved it all together. Maybe cliffhang, or maybe like it's tough to like at that point. I think it was pretty clear. There wasn't even any drama of like, do they think Dylan is a traitor or something like that? It was just like, we know they all are pretty much on the same page now.
Well, it also didn't help when Brittany was like, couldn't stop crying that she voted Danielle out, even after Danielle was like, yeah, I'm a traitor. And then Brittany's just still crying. I feel like she made it obvious for everyone.
Dude, I can't, like, it is very, very hard to get to the end. It's like, I think there was one season in the UK that I think that I've watched where there was a traitor who won. And it's like, there was this girl who just got, I don't remember their names, but she just got blindsided by it. Otherwise, like, no matter what down the stretch, when you get out traitors and you go toe-to-toe with someone at the table, if you are also a traitor, like you almost always expose yourself. But I mean, Brittany, like her entire demeanor shifted from when she was a faithful to when she got recruited. And of course that naturally is going to happen. But like the number one thing you got to do is approach it like you're still a faithful and just be like, yeah, I mean, I hope we get it. You know what I mean? Like she was once you become that aggressive, that defensive, all of that shit, you put a bullseye right on your back.
Dylan kind of put it together where he was like, I think Brittany might have been a recruit, but I was surprised they didn't just outright be like, well, wait a minute. Once Carolyn went out, Danielle probably had to recruit someone else to be a traitor. Of course, she fucking recruited Brittany.
Well, that's why Danielle's the worst, because it was so goddamn obvious. If she just went and recruited Dolores or someone, or Ivar, one of these morons who doesn't know what's going on.
I can't get enough of Ivar. I had no idea. I had no idea he existed until this show.
I don't think anybody did.
He's hysterical.
He's unbelievable. And like, I always put myself in the position of these people, and I'm like, I think I could do a pretty good job of being a faithful, pretending. Like there was no doubt that Ivar was a faithful. Like you could not be more of a faithful. He was just walking around like, I sleep well at night. I'm having a good time. I'm chatting with my friends. Lord Ivar was about as pure as it gets. He was unbelievable. Tom Sandoval with an all-time PR overhaul. Like whoever his team is and him, like, round of applause, going from the number one villain in reality TV to like the darling this season.
I had never seen him in anything else. I know he's like cheated or whatever. Like I know his name is bad, but from only watching him in Traitors, I can't imagine how anyone dislikes this guy. He stole every time he was on the screen. I was rooting for him by the end of the season.
Oh man, imagine if he was at the end there. I was praying for a scenario where it was everybody, do you want to end the game? And like the one guy who doesn't is Sandoval, and he keeps going, and they're like, what are you doing, I would have loved that moment. And the singing, when he got voted out, being like, do you think that was a bit when he was like so over the top, like Of course they voted me out.
By the order of the traitors, you have been murdered. I was expecting this. Who's the most threatening of the guys? Obviously me. I've enjoyed this so much, and I didn't realize I was going to be so good at it.
I really feel like it's believable
that pretty genuine. Like I think he really thought he was running the game. And up until Boston Rob, he had the worst guesses ever.
Oh man, dude, Dolores, Ivar, and Tom at any given moment would just completely throw away their vote. I mean, Dolores was never even. I think on the finale last night they said on the reunion she was wrong 8 of 10 times. Just constantly. Actually, it made it interesting by her throwing away a vote every time for Sandoval because it like lowered the numbers needed to get somebody out. And Sandoval too. Just Dolores and Sandoval voting for each other. It was like Peter Griffin and the chicken, just like forever destined Batman and the Joker, just keep going forever.
I don't think any of those three were doing it intentionally, but it is a smart strategy to appear as like the dumb faithful.
Totally.
Because if you think about it, Ivar and Dolores were probably seen as two of the dumbest faithfuls. They won.
Yeah. If you can really pull it off, like you have to be so aloof the whole season. Yeah. Like never involve yourself in the strategy, never gameplay. Because if you do all that and then you get to the table and you vote for Dolores, it's like, what are we doing, dude? But if you just kind of remove yourself, I could see Feidelberg being great at that. Just being like, I think it's Tommy. Whatever, just throwing away your vote each time. That was absolutely. It was a weird season where, from a viewer point of view, it was terrible gameplay a lot of times, but it made it interesting.
Yeah, that was the only season I've ever watched. I was locked in. I want to go back and rewatch 1 and 2. I kind of know it. I have big things of what happens, but I like that. I mean, it's an interesting layer where they're all former reality stars, but I like it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, well, when I first started watching the UK, there definitely was a difference of regular people because you have no idea.
There are regular people in UK?
Yeah. The very first one, and I think even maybe season 1 of America, maybe not though. But UK is just regular people. And so you have no idea about anything. Whereas this is like season 2 of US, Johnny Bananas gets voted out first because they were like, we're not fucking with you. That kind of sucks. I mean, it adds a wrinkle, but it's also like you wish that didn't happen. Same thing, Boston Rob, Wes, you have the heavy hitters in there and everybody already knows it. So Tony recently made waves saying he believes that the game needs to be amended to that there needs to be some sort of reward and some sort of punishment for when you correctly get a traitor out or when you incorrectly get a faithful out. And he said, when you go to that round table as a player, people don't care whether they get a traitor out or a faithful out because you're just narrowing the numbers down. As long as it's not you, you're one step closer to winning. And I thought that was kind of never like a better example never was right here. Like even you wanted to get Brittany out. And once you did, it was like the end of the game. But even if they didn't, like it was, once you're down to that small of a crew, it's just like last to the end, whether it's Dolores or Brittany, as long as I'm here. And then once he had said that going into this episode, I really was like, oh yeah, it behooves them obviously to get Brittany, but it does not really matter if they don't. They need to fix that.
Yeah. Also, I think it's even more so early on where like you get someone out, but they're going to get replaced. Even if you get a traitor out early on, they're just going to get replaced.
That's a good call.
But you're not going to end the game with 12 faithfuls. So it's not even really that important to get a traitor out until the end when it's like they could start stealing. They could steal the money at the end. But like,
I also think they like the very first votes are always like people just find something to latch onto because you have no clue at that point. 23 people, you've been together for like one day. I think people are going to get wise to that. And I don't know what they do to make sure, like if it was me, I am staying mute for the first like 5 days. I'm not giving you a thing because if I sneeze wrong, people just go, well, let's vote for that guy because we don't have any other information. We might as well vote out the guy who kind of might have said something wrong, like they did to Wells. Wells was like totally fine to say, was that a good move or a bad move? But they just latched onto it and you're gone.
Yeah, I don't know what obviously the strategy depends if you're a faithful or a traitor. But I feel like if you're a faithful, you just don't throw anybody's name out and you just make everyone like you because you just don't want the traitors to kill you at night. Like,
right.
Is
That's
really
really
the
it.
main
Just
thing.
make yourself like enjoyable. Like we just want them around in the house. You know
Right,
what I
like,
mean?
which is basically Dylan Efron.
Yep. Dylan
Yeah.
Efron did a great job. I think if I had to guess, I think he and Gabby were a little more united down the stretch than they even let on. Like I think episode 6 or maybe 7, it was like he did vote for her, but I think by the end he like knew for sure, and they were still kind of teasing that, and I think they were pretty aligned. Gabby did an unbelievable job when Danielle was like, "I'm coming for you," and Gabby shut that shit down. And I thought last night Brittany did about as good of a job as you could have to throw up the Hail Mary and save yourself. I think everybody realized what was going on with Brittany, but I think the number one thing that people do when they get accused is they spend so much time defending themselves and just saying things like, I'm 100% a faithful. I'm a faithful. It's like, that's not doing anything for you. What you need to do is push that off and put it on someone else. Go on the offensive.
What also makes me laugh is when they're like, in my real life, like I care about my family and honor. Like I could never be a traitor. It's like, well, it's not like you fucking chose to be a traitor. Like if you got tapped on the shoulder, then you're a traitor.
You had
like,
to do it.
Like it's not just like, oh, but my family, like that was like, I think Dolores was saying that.
Well, did you see?
I think when you get attacked, you need to have a backup, but you also can't just be like, which I think Brittany didn't do great of. Or you can't just be like, oh, you think I'm a traitor? Well, you're a traitor.
I think you're a traitor. Yes.
That you almost have to have a different target than the person who came for you.
That is
because
probably
if the person who's coming for you is like, you're a traitor, and you're just like, no, you're a traitor. I don't think that's a strong.
When you have evidence, when she was like, Danielle looked right at you and was like, unbelievable. Like if the evidence you are going to present points at him, and he was even like, he was like, I brought a knife to a gunfight. Like he got fucking smoked. I think if that was a different time, I think that would have worked. I think that people at that point just put together the Danielle and Brittany thing. But I think if that's middle of the game, I think Dylan Efron's in a lot of trouble.
I think Brittany's best move was saying that Gabby was a faithful.
Totally. So let's talk about the seer, because I don't think I've ever.
That was new?
I think, I don't think that's ever been in this before, or really any sort of reality show where you get like the answer. And usually I can come up with something on the spot of at least what I think I would do, whether it's right or wrong or how it plays out. I don't know. But like, here's what my gut's telling me. And I really didn't know what to do with the seer. The safest move is to do what she did. Just say someone's a faithful. It doesn't really affect the game one way or the other. Like she could have just picked someone who is a faithful. I guess Gabby was a good in-between. If you pick Ivar or Dolores, it's like, I think we all know that you're kind of wasting it. But Gabby was probably a faithful, confirmed a faithful, and you don't put a target on your back. But I was trying to think if there's a way, because the flip side is what Dylan was saying. If she comes back and says this person's a traitor, you kind of put a bullseye on your back. But is there something in between where you hold the power? Like I was wondering, like, what if you did it with Gabby? And I don't know if this would work. I'm just throwing this out there. What if you did that with her and you come back and you say, I thought there was two possibilities for a traitor. And now I'm pretty sure who it is. And leave it like that. Like you don't tell people what
you
they
don't outright say what her result was.
Yeah, just because
I think people
like,
are just going to start pushing.
But it might, now it's just like confusion and a little bit of power. I don't know. Is there a way to weaponize being the seer?
I think people would just start pressing and be like, well, then who the fuck is it?
Who is it? Yeah.
I think what she did is about as good, where you come back and you're like, we're both faithfuls. Thank God.
Yes. Thank God. My girl, me and her can go to the end together now. Yeah.
I was thinking like I might have gone Ivar or Dolores there. But I do get your point where it's like, well, then it feels like you're wasting it. But she could have spun that like Ivar did get a few votes at the previous round table. And she could have been like, I know we all thought Ivar was a faithful. Let's just make sure Ivar's a faithful.
I thought the Ivar vote, was like the undoing of everything. Because at least the way they edited that, it was so Gabby versus Danielle, if I remember correctly, right? And then they just pivoted off of Gabby to Ivar, which it was
Dolores. Dolores was basically
Dolores,
it looked like it was going to be. Yeah, once Dolores, and this also should have been a clue that Brittany was a traitor. because once Dolores was like, they knew that Gabby, Dylan, and Ivar were all voting for Danielle.
Correct.
And so once Dolores was like, I'm voting for Ivar, then Brittany and Danielle knew, well, we have to vote the same way as her to at least force a tie.
And why the fuck would why would Brittany do that if she wasn't, at that point, if those two people, we know Dolores is an idiot and voting rogue. And if two people go rogue with her, they're in cahoots. And so to me, that they didn't really edit that in a way. And maybe it's because the rest of the crew didn't figure it out. But if I'm Dylan, I'm going, the fuck is we all just talked about Gabby and Danielle, and now you two go for Ivar. I know why she did it because she's an idiot, but why did you two do it? So to me, that should have blown the whole thing open.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just thought, oh, those two are so close. Although I watched like the beginning of the reunion or like first half of the reunion last night. I don't watch Big Brother. I didn't know those two. They barely fucking know each other.
Yeah, she was like, I've hung out with you for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
I thought they were like sisters. I also, what is Reindeer Games? Is that
I was going to say the same thing. Apparently, that's like not like that's not like a season of Big Brother. Like that's like a
whole other show
spin-off or something.
Okay,
let me just look it up.
Yeah, because I saw like a video, and that also what makes this interesting is social media. Because as these people get voted out, they kind of start to do press, and you hear things and. They were talking about Reindeer Games like it was the Red Wedding, like it was like a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was one spin-off season in 2023. 9 former players came back, 6 episodes. So that's like a mini series. Big Brother, I think, starts with like 20.
I'm sure it was like a Christmas thing or whatever. Reindeer Games. Have you've never watched Big Brother?
No, I've seen like episodes here and there. I know a lot of people say that I'd like it because
I'm sure it's all relatively the same. But I saw a lot of people were saying. Big Brother strategy is like the long haul. You have to do it over the course of like months. And 2, it seems like I don't know it well enough, but a lot of fans were like, no more Big Brother people. They ruined the show. And
I like Garth.
But I also think that Danielle and Brittany were like the season.
Yeah, it's true.
Like maybe you didn't like it, but it's compelling. To me, it's like
I actually, I mean, as much as I didn't like her, like Danielle more than Brittany. Like Brittany, I think the fact that she was the last traitor standing sucked. Like she was like she just got it, wasn't very good at it, and like the fact that she was the last. This obviously could never work, but there was a part of me that was like, if somehow the audience didn't know who one traitor was the whole season.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Cool, yeah, but you have to see the traitors talk to each other in the turret and all that.
You have to. I guess you could like cover a face and do a change of voice, something extreme, but it would be tough.
I was
thinking that would be fun. Yeah, the broadcast. It would be a lot of fun to watch it that way, but the broadcast would be very stupid. I think. I also think that. What if they did when you get recruited? You have to either get killed or recruited because you know who the traitor is, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was Brittany, I almost wouldn't have accepted. If the alternative is murder, you've got to take it because you're out of the game. But what if it was like you get an envelope and just says you've been invited to be a traitor, or you can stay a faithful? I think at that point in the game, I think I would say no.
I thought that's what it was, to be honest. I thought somebody told me, I don't know if they changed it for this season. I thought somebody told me that's how that worked. So I
was thinking that too. And then this one was definitely posed as join up or get murdered. And
right, it's like, which is like, well, that's fucking no shit.
Yeah, that part is stupid. I think
that should be how you just said. It's definitely how it should go.
Yeah, and I'm wondering. I mean, I feel like that was in earlier seasons because it's like hot potato. Like at the end, it's everybody. Once everyone has information. Dude, it is so fucking hard to make it to the end. And that's why Danielle was like driving me crazy. But the fact that she was right there from day one till the end was like, it's so hard once people have weeks and weeks and weeks of ammo. And I mean, the fact that she was crying and shaking, like none of it made sense that she was still around. But if you can, your only shot, unless you are masterful, is to get recruited in a non-obvious way like Brittany did, and then just like at the final 2 episodes and sneak in, because otherwise, goddamn, is it tough.
From what you've watched, the seasons you've watched, is it more often that a faithful wins or traitors win?
Yeah, I was trying to remember. So there was definitely one season there was one season where a guy and a girl get down to it, and they are tight. And she's like, if you're a traitor, like, I'm never going to trust anyone again. And he's like, I got you, girl. Like, you are my girl. And then they throw the fire and he wins. He tricks her. And she was like, on a human level, she was crushed.
Was that US or UK?
I think that was UK. I think it was UK or like first season of US where there weren't famous people because they were definitely no names. And then there was the season where Love Island Aaron was in it. And I think was a faithful, and everybody wanted to end the game, and he sussed out that there was one left and threw the red smoke, something like that, where he like really came through in the clutch as well. So I mean, it's like it's almost like they need a rule switch, and maybe not. I mean, it's a couple seasons so far, and one time it's been Traitors, one time it's been Faithful. It's been enough even, but it seems very hard to me to make it all the way. And this is the problem when people know each other. Like if Danielle just recruited, if Brittany and Danielle had nothing to do with each other, I don't think people would have suspected anything. But you know that they have history, they're friends, they're frenemies. All of a sudden you start putting the pieces together, you know?
Yeah, it seemed like at least Danielle was like way more interested in her friendship with Brittany than winning the game for whatever.
When she was like, you did it to me again. I was like, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Fucking loved it. Did Brittany explain? Did she just think that other people were gonna? Nobody.
She thought Dolores gave her that look.
Right. Which they showed on the finale, and there like was a look, but it definitely wasn't like.
It's also with editing, like she could have given that look at another point, and they just showed it there.
I thought that, but they showed like a side by side. Yeah, I mean, I guess if the editors were like lying to Brittany and Danielle too, but I think Brittany was like, "That did you see the show? That was the look she gave me." But I don't know. It was definitely not like we talked about this, do the thing. It was just like, holy shit, it's Dolores. She's an idiot. Like, she doesn't know what's going on.
But I do believe Brittany thought that. So
in that case, she thought that she was saying, change your vote because I didn't? Because if they all changed. Because
she did. She thought that Dolores, she thought Dolores was saying like, oh boy, we got to vote Danielle now. And I think Brittany was like, well, I can't be the only person who doesn't vote Danielle. That'll look suspicious, so I'll just vote Danielle.
Because had Brittany not changed, it would have gone to
a tie, and they would have. I don't know what a chance would have been, but
see, to me, I'm almost, if that's me, if I'm in that spot, I'm changing no matter what. I'm not letting it even. I'm not even giving it. I guess everybody could switch, and then it's a tie the other way. But I'm making sure that I at least shake it up, and I don't put a chance that I'm going home.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I thought Brittany, in the end, she ended up voting her out. But I thought she could have easily been like, Danielle, I did not want to do this to you, but I could not run the risk of me getting voted out by chance. So I had to.
Well, no. The chance would have just come down to Danielle and Gabby.
Oh, I thought it was like a Survivor thing where it goes back.
No, it's just change their votes.
Then I probably would have just let it fucking be the same. I thought it was like Survivor where they're safe now and you're
no. From what I understand,
that's one of my favorite Survivor gameplay things, that it flips on you, because then it really makes you act upon it. I think people like, so I was just saying on KFC Radio when you were there that like I'm talking so much shit about Danielle, but then I see Rhea go through shit and I'm like, oh, I don't like hate Danielle as a person, like whatever. But then as I kept watching, I was like, I think I hate Danielle as a person. And I think a lot of the other people do as well. Like the reunion wasn't nearly as, with Danielle at least, was not as awkward as I thought it was going to be. Almost other people were fighting. But I feel like there's really
kind of was at points with Carolyn. I thought Carolyn at points was like, yeah, Danielle, you didn't respect me.
Yes, that was true.
When what's his name? What was the host name? The after show?
Andy
Cohen was like he said like, I was surprised he addressed the rumor that like Danielle told Brittany that she's a traitor. Yeah. And the face Carolyn made was like, oh, like I feel like that was true. Like it seems like they do not like Danielle.
Well, I also think that if they shut that down so quick, the reunions have to be live. I hate it's so clearly edited and chopped up.
Yeah. Do you know when that was?
I don't know when it was.
It was within like probably last week or so, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think it was recently. Okay. Yeah. But they shut that down so quick that like I almost think that was Peacock being like, we have to address this, but we are not giving this an ounce of credence because the whole thing is fucked if viewers ever think that's a possibility ever again. And I do think there's a chance that Brittany was like, I was just so blatantly, it was obvious that Danielle was a traitor, and I was saying so that people assumed it. But I don't know. That's a big leap to make. Like, I feel like that was one of those things, like, you know how it goes. There's always behind the scenes stuff when we're filming these things. It's like, don't let the audience know. And I think that Carolyn just said, fuck it, I'm going to do it because she doesn't like Danielle.
Yeah, I don't know when. That's like such a I mean, I'm sure there's times where they're not mic'd up and on camera, but like, when would Danielle have said that to Brittany?
I mean, I guess if you said something like, if you were just like, yeah, I guess we have a mic on you, but if you're like, I'm going to recruit you, you don't even have to be like, I'm a traitor, but just like,
right.
Or like, hey, if I was ever a traitor, I would recruit you or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the words are, saying one thing, but the cameras aren't catching you being like, I will recruit you.
Yeah. I'm surprised like more things don't accidentally get blown up throughout.
Totally, man. Like it's after that much time together and downtime, you start to get comfortable, you start to relax. I think things would slip.
I also kind of think that, I mean, it's tough because I think the speeches, like when someone gets voted out at the round table and they go to the circle of truth, those could be cool. Like Wes had a good speech, Carolyn's, but like sometimes they give, like, I know people say that Bob the drag queen almost gave away Boston Rob, and like Danielle's speech kind of gave away Brittany. Like from a fairness perspective, it should almost just be like,
you go,
I'm a traitor, I'm a faithful. Like it's 100%. One or the other. Like, you don't get to give a little speech and say who betrayed you and who didn't.
Because you don't say so, but you tip your hand. And maybe the producers like that. It's like, give them a little ammo to use. But it's like, she addressed every single person except for you. You're the one. Yeah, I'm with that. I think it should be like, they almost should have Alan Cummings hits a button, boom, and you drop. You just fall out of the fucking thing and you're done, gone, goodbye.
Yeah. That was like a one thing from fairness. I was like, I don't know if I like that. I feel like that definitely is going to fuck some people over.
If they do it with Brittany, where she got to give a speech, but she didn't reveal, like there's logic there where it's like, all right, we can't let them tell you. So why do it in the beginning either? Like it should just be that never happens. Yeah. You just find out and that's it, And I really do.
I guess reality TV does give you good moments.
Sure. It almost needs to be like a confessional. You can say all that shit.
Yeah.
But like, letting the people hear that is pretty obvious. I wonder if like, did they ever make amendments in like Survivor, like gameplay changes?
Yeah. I mean, here and there,
like more they add things, but have they ever been like, we figured that this is a problem and we're going to switch it?
Not like a major one like that. No.
Because as this gets more popular, like I think they would be smart to be like, we heard the fans and but I think they're like, our game is our game and it fucking works. So we're leaving it. But if it was like, if the round table split and you were right, you're safe, and you're wrong, you're up for a vote. And they need to switch the challenges. I don't give a fuck about the money. The money is so embarrassingly low. I mean, 200 grand split 4 ways for people who Real Housewives have like millions and millions and millions of dollars. So that the money does not matter unless they up it, unless you're winning like $1 million a prize. And the challenges should be for shields. Like you just win immunity like every other fucking show. Like that needs to be not a side thing. That needs to be the focus.
And the money should just like, it needs to be higher, the money. I mean, I don't really care regardless, I guess, but it's like crazy that it's like $50,000 for Zac Efron's brother, like a British royal.
Yeah. And you're talking about NBC Peacock. Like, bro, I just saw that Saturday Night Live costs $4 million an episode. It's $100 million a year to put SNL on TV. Like you can break off $1 million. You can find some way to make this, worthwhile. Or just make it, the challenges. Because at the end of the day, we know the same thing too. It's like we wanted to win the money in Survivor, but it's really about winning and all that. So just make the immunity the prize. Make there be consequences and rewards for getting it right or wrong, and take it from there. Because I think that would really like shift the game in a positive way. But I don't know. They're also probably like we're fine. Don't fucking.
One thing I was thinking is like if you win a mission, instead of just having a shield for not getting murdered, should you also have a shield at the round table? But then you could like technically just like muscle your way through the
100%.
game. And it's like that's not what Traitors is. Like Survivor, you could go on immunity run, but you could argue that Survivor, a part of the game is physical. Like a part of it is
Yes,
you know,
Traitors really
outplay,
not.
outwit, outlast, outplay. Like it is, if you're good at challenges, you deserve to be safe. Traitors, it's like not at all a physical like.
No, Traitors is like
game.
you cooperate, and it's like
Right.
Traitors is really good with the pageantry, and there's fire and explosions, but the games themselves are like everybody playing a silly game together. So winning or losing does not really is not the mark of a good or bad player. So it's really about the personality side of it. So if you were to just like whoever just sat at the table unable to be voted, people would just go with what, you know what I mean? Like whatever I say, you follow basically.
Right.
So there could be some tweaks here and there, I think, that would make it better. But overall, I think I think this was like the breakout season. I feel like this was, kind of like broke into the mainstream. I think Gabby gained 200,000 Instagram subscribers, Instagram followers. Yeah, she popped off big time. There was a whole chart, and it went all the way down to like Wells, who got like 0. There's a couple people who like lost followers, but Gabby, breakout star. Dylan Efron, breakout star. So I feel like season 4 will probably be even, bigger and better with star name and star power. But where do you rank it?
I was like, this isn't fair. Like, you shouldn't be able to be like this good looking and likable and just. It's like,
he just
charismatic. It's like fuck you, man. But at the same time, I still like him.
Yeah, I know. He's not an asshole. He's kind of honest. Like when he got bowled over by Brittany, he was like, God damn, I got fucking smoked. Like humble enough, smart enough to do it. Yeah, this was a big season for him. You know what I was thinking? The very first thing of episode 1, they booted a couple people, right? Or was that a different? There was either last season or this season. They were like, 4 of you are just gone off the rip. Do you remember if that was this year?
I don't think that was this year.
I think it was last year. They were just like, you're like they had to pick, and it was just like 4 people before they even went in the castle were gone. And I was thinking like they've got to bring them back or like give them redemption or something like that. And I think they were just fucking gone. They were just like, see you later. So I was wondering,
they just like overcasted the show and didn't know what to do.
Yeah, we double booked. You're fucking out. I do think next season will be interesting when like Boston Rob was a huge draw. Wes is a challenge legend. Like you had some names of people that were like must see where reality fans are tuning in. If you just go back to other housewives, I mean, there's definitely other celebrity reality stars, but like they've gone through bananas. They've gone through Boston Rob. They went
There's
through
a ton of Survivor ones still. Like they could do Russell Hantz.
Yeah.
They could do a lot of Survivor.
Fair Play Johnny.
What?
Fair Play Johnny.
Oh yeah, he would be
like bringing some of the real fucking rats, real scumbags in there.
If Richard Hatch is out of jail.
Yeah. My favorite is people were mad at Danielle for saying I swore on my grandkids that I was a faithful. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm going to lie to you. I'm going to swear on my kids, my Bible, my grandma, my dead mom. I'm doing all that, dude. I'm lying to you to win. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I am trying to think though of other reality stars, because now you almost just like have to go down levels from the big shows,
right? Just start if you had Boston Rob at the top, go number 2, 3, 4 of
right.
all of them.
But that kind of makes it worse.
There's definitely other stars of reality, but I don't know about like gameplay legends where like there's a few more, but you start to run through that pretty quickly where by season 5 like you're just doing people from Housewives, you're doing people from Vanderpump, you're doing, all that. But I guess, someone like Abby was a good breakout. Like there's always going to be somebody who, steps up to the plate and the next thing. So
I also thought the way they like Boston Rob, like was so obviously a traitor. Like the fact that they gave him his little separate intro in the beginning, and then he comes back as one of the 3. It's like, come on.
That was crazy that they didn't see, like, you're going to get like the most conniving, biggest star and just make him a faithful, like get the fuck out of here. And I would have liked to see what happened if he didn't go so hard, like the 4th time in a row when he just kept picking off people. I think he could have made a run. I think he said it in the finale. He was at the reunion. He was like, I got a little too like trigger happy. But if he just put once he got rid of Bob the Drag Queen and maybe Wes after that, like just chill, I think he would have been in a real good spot. It's funny that Dylan knew. He was like, I was the rookie that you were just gonna, take to slaughter. That was funny. They got a good bromance going.
But it was smart by Dylan too. Like I'll get dragged along with him till the end, and then
you do it. Yeah. Well, and that's where they might need to make some switches where it's like, I don't care who we're voting for, faithful, whatever, as long as we already have 2. Let's go get 2 more. We have numbers the whole fucking time. And there's really no punishment for being wrong. So I think I know where you stand on this question, but I think this gameplay mechanism is better than Survivor. Is Survivor still king for you?
Oh, yeah. Easily. I mean, we just pointed out so many flaws with this.
Well, that's the thing I think inherently, though, the idea of having like these people in the shadows with more information makes it really that's a huge, huge plus. If they can tweak some of those flaws, Survivor is like ironclad. It's perfect. Even just the basic idea of the tribal coming back and all the tiebreakers.
There's just so much more to consider in Survivor too. Traitors are basically like, is this person a faithful or not? Survivor, it's like, should I vote this person out for reasons A, B, C, D, E, F? There's just a lot more to consider.
And then they're going to come back around and all that. Yeah. But this is about as good as it gets outside of Survivor. So we'll see what happens in season 4. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I loved it. First season watching, excited for I assume next season, Survivor does like 2 a year, but I assume this is like once a year.
I think so. Yeah, I would say it was.
I'm gonna look when season 3 aired, or sorry, season 2. I mean,
yeah, I feel like it was about a year if I remember waiting. I really can't remember what
first
happened.
Episode of season 2. Jesus was January 2023.
So early 23 into end 24 into.
Oh, January 12th to March 14th, 2024. So basically the same time as this year.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so it's got the Tommy Smokes reality TV seal of approval.
Yep, big time.
All right, and fuck Danielle.
I'd like to be on it too. Am I a big enough reality star to be on it?
I was thinking, dude, Survivor is going to be so hard for you living in the fucking island. You would do good in Traitors.
I would love it, but I'm kind of like, I don't think I fit the bill. Like, I think I have to get on Survivor or something else first. Can you even apply to fucking Traitors?
Who was that? Who was the gay Bob? Not Bob the Drag Queen, the other Bob. He's a nobody, right?
Oh, he was I didn't know him outside of the show. I think it was American Makeover, some shit.
I think it's time that Barstool gets some representation on these. I don't think that's that far-fetched. I think if it was just like, you're Barstool, you're not Tommy, you're representing Barstool, it would be, people would know that. People would understand that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I just don't know if you can, I feel like you can't apply to Traitors.
Yeah, you probably got to get invited. I mean, that guy, right. Sam ended up having the best play of the year. It didn't work out because Sandoval's a fucking moron. But other than that, Sam was kind of like wallpaper. He was just like...
Yeah, who was he?
He's Britney Spears' ex. He married her for like a minute. So if he can be on it, Tommy Smokes can be on it.
Yeah.
Consider this the application, NBC.
Yeah, if you're watching, Alan Cummings.
Holler at your boy, Tommy Smokes.